welcome back to another episode of Energy If You Know You Know, the podcast that provides a platform for the Gen Z workforce to share their unique perspectives, ideas, and aspirations as we shape the energy industry's future. I'm your host, Soloma Kerala, and today I have with me Fejiro Golagha. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, you got that.
All right. Fejiro is joining us actually from her work, so I'm not going to take a lot of your time. Thank you so much for carving out the time to join Energy If You Know You Know and tell us more about you. I guess we can get started. Tell us, where are you joining from and a little bit about your background on how you joined the energy industry.
Okay. Greetings, everybody. So I'm Fejiro Golagha, and I'm joining from Nigeria. River State precisely. So my background is in petroleum engineering from Petroleum Training Institute. So I had my undergraduate from PTI, that is PTI Warri, in Nigeria. So most of my activities have been in the midstream sector of the industry, and most of the times the downstream sector of the industry. So I've been on the field. So most of my activities are field intensive operations whereby I can barely cope. So that is a little bit about my background. So joining the industry has been something quite interesting, moving from one stage to another and trying to solve or provide solutions to current challenges. And as much as I'm providing solutions, I'm also making sure that I'm fit mentally and I'm okay and I have the energy to carry out those operations. I also don't leave my family and friends behind, because one thing is that once you're on the field, you have so many calls and you are far away from home. So you have to ensure that you keep check with the family and friends and ensure that once you are on your time off, you have quality time with family.
Oh, good. So you're able to separate both. Work is work, and once you're home, you give your family that quality time.
Exactly.
Fejiro, you have a major in petroleum engineering, but you are working in the field in midstream and experience in downstream. Was that your intention, or did you want to work more in upstream? Because usually, or from what I heard and what I know, is that chemical engineers are more common to work in the midstream and downstream business. So can you tell us, was that your intention? Did you always want to work where you are now?
Okay. So my program in petroleum engineering prepared me for the upstream sector of the industry.
Yeah.
And funny enough, you can actually decide to go for a petroleum engineering degree and you end up being a consultant or maybe into the sales or marketing department. So the industry is quite funny. I call it funny because what you read most time might not be what you end up with. So for my story, for example, having to undergo petroleum engineering as my undergraduate program, I was expecting that I will be working with geoscientists or geologists on seismic interpretation, or maybe drilling engineers on drilling operations or perforation or well intervention and the other activities for the upstream. But I find myself in the downstream. So majority of the things I do in the downstream is more of processing. So it's not what I actually studied to be, but it's not what I am. So it's fun, first of all, admitting that even though you are not in the upstream yet, but being in another stream of the industry is also something you want to give it a try. So if there is still an opportunity, I know I'm going to explore all the sectors of the oil and gas industry, not only the downstream or the midstream, but also the upstream. But transitioning from what I studied to what I'm actually doing in the field is actually what I call funny. So for everybody out there, you must understand that studying a particular course does not give you the 100% assurance that you're going to end up being that. But understanding who you are can actually help you to navigate through every process. So it's not you are not in the upstream doesn't mean you are not contributing value to the industry. So whether upstream, downstream, midstream, you have a role to play, and that is very crucial to understand.
And that is very important. And it's I guess what it's important, and I see that you had that kind of growth and flexible mindset that, okay, I did go to school as a petroleum engineer. However, I didn't get the opportunity to actually go and pursue what I studied, but I am still contributing to the energy industry through different sectors and different parts, which is I think normal, I would say. I mean, I personally started as well. I'm a chemical engineer. I started out in the field, and then downturn happened, and then I was in midstream, and now I'm more focused in downstream. So it's important to have that growth and that flexible mindset, that as long as I'm contributing and learning, and I'm putting my skills somewhere, then it's all positive. It's all positive.
Yeah, very.
However, once you first started, was that transition challenging on you?
Was super, super challenging.
How so?
Okay, so trying to transition from one aspect of a career to another career, it's challenging, especially as a lady. So
Oh yeah.
going through petroleum engineering, I had a basic understanding of the reservoir and the production and drilling. But I'm now in the downstream, majority of the things they are processing,
Yeah.
which I might have just a little understanding of what processing is all about. So going back to study a new, just like you graduating from petroleum engineering and you are going to study environmental science or environmental engineering. So it's just like you are going out of your field. So that initial, how do I call it? That initial backup will no longer be there. But the basics of physics, mathematics, chemistry, and general knowledge will help you to thrive in that particular aspect. So moving from the petroleum to processing, it is what I call challenging for me. I remember the first 3 months I was consistently crying. So because most of the things there, I didn't know much about the jargons, all the things they were saying, process parameters, process flow, PFD, which is the process flow diagrams, piping instrumentation, and every other thing. It sounds so odd. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm now in the field. So what did I do? I first of all accepted that I'm in a new field. So it's okay if you want to cry, but in as much as you're in this field, you have to go back and study, you have to go back and learn more, you have to go back and gain this new knowledge that you are currently in that particular field. So one thing that helped me was my mentors. So most of the times I will cry back to them and I'll be like, you guys advised me that you pick something up like this. I've picked it up and it's challenging for me. So what should I do? What do I need to do? And they come back and they give this support. And so it's not only about being in a new field, it's about having a support system that can actually help you cope with the stress and the annoyance. A lot of annoyance, like you are done for the day and you feel like you didn't know anything, you don't know anything. And there's one thing I saw on LinkedIn known as the idiot curve. So when I started, I looked at myself as a dullard, like I didn't know anything. I had to question the degree I had in petroleum engineering. That was how terrible it was. So at the end of the day, I go back to myself and I'll be like, Fejiro, you went to the field, you can't even defend yourself, you can't even defend what you studied in your playing around me. I'm good enough. I understand. I have the ability to assimilate fast. I'm flexible. I'm adaptable. So those are things I kept on saying to myself that actually gave me the opportunity not only to cry, but to wipe my tears at the end of the day and go back to where I came from.
Yeah, I need to process that, because that was beautiful. I think I can attest that I've been there, done that as well. I mean, I think you're speaking to us all, and we've all been there. You're not alone. But what I like is that you reflected and you accepted it. You're like, okay, I know that I'm crying. I know that like this is going to be hard, but you motivated yourself, you found that courage, and you reflected back on who you actually are and what are the skills that you are bringing and how you can make those skills, or actually bring those skills to the challenge that you're at, and help you progress and go forward. Who are your mentors? Like, where do you select those mentors? And it's important to have that support system, but where do you find that, and who did you go to give you that support?
Okay, so during my undergraduate CWES, that is Student Industrial Work Experience scheme, I interned with a particular company known as the Energy, and I had a boss known as Mr. Lukman. So he's more of an inspiration to me. He studied chemical engineering. So, and being at the reception, I was open to customers, I was open to visitors, and I was also open to other bosses in the office. So what I did was that I positioned myself strategically. So I didn't want to go and intern at that company and live just the way I went there. So I went there with the understanding that I need someone to guide me through. I need people to really guide me. Not that I'm just facing everything on my own. So I've gotten mentors through professional associations like the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists. I started from NAPE. So those people in that community shaped my life. Like every opportunity I had to grow. What about the other one is SP, Society of Petroleum Engineers. So as a petroleum engineering undergraduate back then in school, we were made to join these associations because they help us to contribute and to know what we really need to do as a startup personnel. Then the other one is through LinkedIn. So I just posted one of my content on my transition from crude oil to natural gas, and I got a mentor from Venezuela. He actually messaged me, and his name is John Brown from Venezuela. He had over 33 years of experience in the industry. So it was like, you just transitioned into natural gas, which is more of process engineering. So it was like, okay, fine, that it can actually mentor me because he has passed through those stages. So anytime I feel challenged in a particular process parameter, I'll just go on LinkedIn and I'll message him and I will be like, sir, this is my current challenge. And he'll be like, okay, just do it this way, or just let it be, or do the best approach you can. So mentors have really shaped my life. They have contributed. They didn't even take anything away from me. Rather, they gave me much more that I can actually absorb to myself. And that is one thing about mentorship. They don't actually need to change your personality.
No,
but they just need to improve your personality and be able to contribute effectively to your team or to anywhere you find yourself. So kudos to all my mentors. I have so much of them, so I can't mention their names. I have few female mentors and I have more male mentors. So you can see how funny it is.
Interesting. So you have a mix.
Yeah.
You have a mix, and why? And can you just tell our audience, and for those, I'd like you to give the young audience advice on how to select those mentors, and kind of explain a bit. Can you explain a bit of why you have several different mentors and not one?
Okay. So one thing about life is there are different stages. So at different stages, different persons must have gone through those different stages. So if I need a mentor for career, first of all, I might consider a person that have transitioned from a particular field to another field. So the person will be able to guide me on how transitioning works in career-wise. Mm-hmm. Then in terms of mentorship academically, academical mentors are usually different from career mentors. Mm-hmm. Career mentors are people that have passed through the system in the industry, like they have changed from one being an officer to a manager to different roles. But academical mentors are people that are in your institute, actually, maybe in your department, and they are the ones that are so much interested in your participation in classes, in assignments, in courseworks, in projects, and every other thing. So those people, they can defend you academically. So if for example, a lecturer decides to go through my score sheet and it notices that I'm having a drop in a particular subject, my mentor can actually call me up and be like, Fejiro, what is going on? Your grade is going low. Is there any challenge? So when you want to select a mentor, you have to check for the empathy. I talk about empathy so much because not everybody will be able to put their self in your shoes. Not everybody is going to understand your deep feeling. So that is why you have to select a mentor based on empathy. You should also select a mentor based on availability. As a mentee, I'm also busy, and I have mentors that are also very, very busy.
Yeah.
So in as much as I want mentoring, I have to be available, and my mentor also have to be available. So there will be no conflict in communication. Then the third one is area of specialization. So if you are a petroleum engineer, you shouldn't be going to meet a chemist for mentoring or an opportunity. If you're a petroleum engineer, maybe a reservoir engineer, a drilling engineer, a construction engineer can actually be someone that you can use as a mentor. Okay, that is all for mentoring. Then the last one I want to talk about is in terms of picking gender. So one thing about we female, we are very skeptical about gender balance. So for most of my mentors, I have most of them in the male gender. Reason because they are most of them are the ones that are available to me. So for the female mentors, I have fewer of them. Reason because most of them are very quite busy. So anytime I have any issue being a lady in the field, I can easily meet up with the female mentor to guide me through. So I might not really go to a male mentor to tell me what a female mentor should tell me. So one of my female mentors is Mam Tubosu Afolaye. She is currently as a carbon strategic manager, and she has guided me through several things in the industry, and looking at her gives me the feeling that I'm on the right path actually. So that is, I will stop there for now.
No, those were all very valuable, and I'm glad that you touched on the gender and the gender balance and the issues that women have in the field, especially you being in the field right now and being in the field, especially I feel like on the downstream side, because all these facilities are very old. They're built long time ago. I mean, people like mostly national oil companies. I'm like, so it's majority still men. So it must be hard from your side as a young engineer and then as a young female engineer as well. So it is. I mean, I've experienced myself as, oh, she's young. Like, not that I'm a girl. It was a gender, but I'm a young engineer. What am I doing outside working? Like, no. Like, you don't know that you don't know how this pump works. You don't know how this works. And for me, it was intimidating. From my experience, it was very intimidating. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. Like, I didn't have that support to kind of push me and tell me like, no, you can try. You should, like, this is how you learn. Until again, I found that mentor. So can you tell us a little bit about that experience for you in the field as a young engineer, amongst brilliant, probably SMEs, subject matter experts in the field, as well as being a young female engineer within your workspace?
Okay, so in terms of that particular question, I have a supervisor in the field here, and he was one that just walked in. So he noticed I was doing something, so he had to leave. So for some field intensive operations, as the female in the field, my supervisor will like make a statement that the lady shouldn't do that, especially when it gets when the job is very intense for a lady to handle. So there are some work at height, maybe a particular height that is too hazardous for a lady to go through that stress. and or maybe there's a particular valve that needs to be put in the right position, but due to the energy involved, a lady might not really do that. So how does that affect me in the sense that being physically strong, that is why I appreciate this opportunity now in my early career, because a time will come when I will be like, I don't want to be in the field again. I don't want to be turning valve. I don't want to wear coverall.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So I'm actually enjoying this process now that I have it, and maybe one day I'll just get a portrait of myself on coverall and I'll just put it on my sitting room, and I'll just reflect on memories. So in as much as I'm doing all this operation, I'm very careful. One, it's because I'm a lady. So I wouldn't want to stress myself in a way that I begin to take my health as a means of maybe my health is not in a good shape. So I have to spend more on my health. So any operation that I know I can't do, I just say it out. I'm sorry, I won't be able to do this.
Good.
Or I just call the assistant of the male in the field. Maybe because we are a team of 5. So I think we're only 2 females in the team of 5. So any operation that I can't do, I just call the attention of the male can do. I go ahead. I don't give excuse for it. I just go ahead and do it. So that is why if you're in the field as a lady, kindly know the things you can do and the things you can't do. There is no crime in not doing it. Why? Because you have to first of all put yourself in the right shoes. Because anything you do can be strenuous on your body, your spinal cord, your back, your legs, your every part of your body. Even the things we inhale into our system, even the respiratory masks we are using, is not 100% very protective, but it just that is what we call it personal protective equipment. So that is the last safety defense for you working in the field. So in as much as those things have been provided to you, you also have to take very good care of yourself. So anything I can't do, I'll just say I can't do it. That is one thing about the field. Here I am. So, but not every operation supervisor can do that. So there are some companies that even though you can't do it, they will still make you do it. So that is why joining the right team at the right time, at the right transition in your career is very, very important.
That's true. Some companies, it does depend on the supervisor, it does depend on the culture. And I think these days cultures are more open and understanding to that. However, if they're not, what advice would you give to young females to kind of put their egos aside? Because it is an ego thing that's unconscious. I'm not saying that it's conscious, it's unconscious or subconscious ego that, no, I can do anything a guy can do, without thinking of our health and without thinking that our physical build, how the universe created our bodies, can't handle the stress that a male's body can. So what words of like encouragement or empowerment would you give to those females to kind of know when to say I can't or I won't, to help prevent them from injuring themselves?
Okay, that is a very beautiful question, and it's very important. And it's very important we talk about it for those that are in the field, because not everybody will be like, I can't do it. There's a saying that goes, what a man can do, a woman can do better.
That's true. I believe in that. But again, that's our subconscious ego. I found it so difficult sometimes to turn a valve. I mean, I've been there.
Wow. Then there's another one that whenever we have an operation in the field and the females are on the field, and one of my bosses will be like, okay, you guys are fighting for gender equality, you guys are fighting for gender inclusion.
Yes.
And it's just quite funny. It's very funny.
That doesn't have to do with it.
You guys isn't out to hold me.
It doesn't have to do with it.
I'll be like, so we are we are like saying there should be gender balance. Doesn't mean you should put us to the front in the sense that we are so much engaged in doing hard works. I believe in hard works. I believe in smart works, but telling me maybe someone admitting that I can't do something doesn't actually make the person not buoyant enough, doesn't make the person less capable, doesn't make the person less valuable. But it gives this understanding that in as much as we are out there saying what a man can do, we can do better, is that we have this understanding of our personality. So we are ladies, being a female is a pride. So you take pride in your personality, first of all, and nobody should use words to battle with you. So whenever they say I should turn a verb, and they'll be like, what a man can do, I'm like, I know a woman can do better, but at this moment, I'm sorry, I can't do that now.
Exactly.
Myself, have I gone through a lot of stress? Have I gone through a lot of stress this period that I don't need to show for? Or do I have enough energy that I can actually risk doing that operation? So those are the two questions I ask myself. If the answers are no, what a woman can do, what a man can do, a woman can do better, I take it to my heart and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't do this now.
Yeah.
But when my energy is high and I can give it a try, then I will say a woman can do better. So I go in and do that operation. So it's a matter of sometimes we do all those things without knowing.
Yeah.
So it's fine to take pride in being a female. And it's also important that even as a female in the field, show your bosses you can do something. Not when they will tell you, go and turn this valve, you're like, I'm a female don't turn valve, female don't do this. No, don't do that. If you are doing that, it means they might not really bring the next female into the team. Why? Because they can see your participation that a female can't actually be in this team.
Yeah.
But if you're in a team and you are showing that, okay, as a female, you're also showing that you can actually work with the males, and you can actually perform and deliver operations, most likely they will bring other females. So that is why, even as we are talking about gender balance, we as the female in the field, we should also show for that we are capable for the management or maybe anything to bring in more people that are females to really know how important we are in a team. So that is one thing I would say to that question. So it's fine. Women can do better. Gender balance, gender equality, and all sort of advocacy we are doing. But if you know you can't do it, please take pride in yourself and admit you can't do it.
I agree.
There is no harm in saying I can't do it, but you can only say, don't worry, I will adjust to it, or I will take the task in the next shift, or I will do it the next time. But at this moment, my health is not good for it. You just admit it. So
yeah,
I know people will say you shouldn't say you can't do something, but I'm saying it again that there are times we say I can't do it. It's just like saying a no in a more simple form, whereby it is not a form of weakness, but actually a strength.
I agree with that. I find it myself, being able to be vulnerable and being able to be honest and actually admitting to that is a form of strength rather than a weakness, for sure. And I do agree with that. It is important to say or to reflect on where you are in that moment. And like, where is my energy right now? I know that I don't have the strength to turn that, or I'm going to twist my wrist if I do that. Yeah. So like, give me an hour, give me 2 hours. If it's not done, I'll give it a try, or whatever it is. But that's absolutely true. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. And I do agree with the fact that it is also, it is important and a responsibility for female engineers in the field to also perform well, to kind of keep that image up that, what men can do, a woman can do better, and you need to bring in more females because we can do the same job as men and better. So there's also that kind of responsibility that's on field engineers, female field engineers, that they hold. Yeah. So, Fejiro, right now you're at work. What does your work look like? And yeah, can you tell us about your day to day and how that looks like?
Oh wow.
You're in your
So
cover
my
off.
day-to-day activity my day-to-day activity is quite tough. Yeah, I would say it's tough because I'm running on a rotation that is quite demanding. My
Hmm.
rotation is 28 14. So
Wow.
I know this might go, I know this might go viral, but I just want to be very careful of the information I'm putting
Yeah.
out here. So when we call 28 14, I'm working 28 days on the field, straight 28 days on the field, and I'm going on my time off for 14 days. So on that 28 days, I'm running 2 weeks nights, 2 weeks day. So during the day, I'm on shift. During the night, I'm also on shift. I know there are some conditions whereby females are not allowed to work on night shifts. So I understand that very well. But as someone that I also want to be very part of a company, not just coming and leaving, but I also want to be my presence to be felt. I found it very interesting to be on a night shift. So
Hmm.
not all companies have this regulation that females are not needed on their night shift.
Hmm.
So whether night shift or day shift, I'm working. So during the day, I wake up by 5 a.m. in the morning. After waking up, doing all my personal activities till 6, I resume work 6:45 a.m. in the morning, and I go to the field straight to the field. There is no office, like to the field straight. So from 8 o'clock, I take field logs, feed the parameter, process parameters. I do analysis. I check routine. That is routine check. I carry out other field work. Then after that particular operation, I go about my daily activities. Maybe I take my breakfast by 8. I work since I'm resuming 6:45 a.m. I do my routine check doing 7 a.m. Then I go for my breakfast 8 a.m. Then after my breakfast, the main field operation starts by 9 a.m. Maybe if the plant is on how do they call it, on shutdown, and we are preparing to bring up our compressors, our plant utilities, then it will be a very stressful day. No sitting down, just moving up. Oh, jeez. So my days are like, when the plant is stable, my days are peaceful. But once the plant is not stable, my
Yeah.
days are very tough and annoying. So so I always pray that the plant should always be stable. But the fact about equipment is that equipment can't actually run 100% efficiency. So there might be some lapses that you need to be there. So what I do whenever I'm on night shift, I go to work by 6:45 p.m. and I close the next day 7 a.m. So after my night shift, I sleep from that 7 a.m. till 6:45 p.m. again. But during that 6 a.m. and 7:45 p.m., I might have personal engagement that I really need to pay attention to. So in as much as I'm working, I'm also ensuring that I'm also taking care of my personal activities. Maybe I'm attending a speaking session, or I'm attending a conference, or I'm attending a webinar. So those are the things that shapes my day. But once I'm on my time off, I go to town. So I live onshore, then I go to the main town and I meet my family and friends. Maybe I go for games, or I read, or I do other personal stuff. But once I'm in the field, I don't have time for other personal activities or engagement. So my day is 28 14. Sometimes if the plant is stable, I can have 3 weeks very peacefully, and last week very strenuous. So this is my last week on onshore. So by on Thursday, I should be retiring to my time. I should be going for my time off. So that is my day precisely. So my day is a to and fro, oscillation motion.
A lot of people in the energy industry, whether they're working upstream or midstream or downstream, I think can relate. that when things aren't going smoothly, it is stressful, and when things are running smoothly, it's a piece of cake. However, and unfortunately, you never really know when that chaos is going to break through, right? Which is the
That is the
industry.
point. You might not
Yeah.
know.
Never prepares you, and most often it comes at the wrong time.
Oh,
Right?
maybe I was supposed to have taken a nap before my night shift, but because of some engagement, I couldn't take a nap. And I resumed for the night shift, and they were like, the compressors are down. You can imagine when the compressors are down, and you'll be
Yeah.
running just to isolate the valves and every other thing. And oh, that night could be very terrible. So
Yeah. But thank you for sharing. This is very valuable for those who just want an idea or are interested in joining the energy industry and don't really know how these rotations work. I mean, not all rotations are the same, but this
yeah,
can give them an idea, right? How do you
yes.
maintain your work-life balance with these rotations?
Actually, with 2814, work-life balance is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very difficult. So I'm still in a process of getting to understand what I actually need to do per every 1 minute I'm free. So
Okay.
maybe doing field operations, there are usually a particular time whereby you are not needed in the field. You are just in the office. So what can I do for myself at that particular 1 minute or 5 minutes? So that is how I find my own balance. So anytime I'm done for the day, I'm stressed out. I just go to my room and I sleep, eat and sleep. And most of the times during the day, I might have some calls that I needed to return. But after the work of the day, I might decide to forget that, oh, so sorry, I couldn't meet up. And most of the times I've been doing a lot of apologies. So I'm always apologizing to people. So because I'm here to gain this work-life balance. So whenever you're on a rotation that is very strenuous, work-life balance is very difficult. But once you're on a rotation, maybe a 2-2, that is 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, you can see that there is a balance between the weeks you are working and the weeks you are going to rejuvenate your body. So, but undermining that, what I do most of the time is I join sessions. So most of the things I do to really keep myself up is joining educational sessions. So I might have a meeting at a particular time and I join a meeting because those things keeps my brain active.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of friends that will be like, Fejiro, how do you keep up with all this your book? Because any small thing I'm already reading, any small thing I'm doing research, any small thing is because I've been joining all these forums, all these seminars, all these workshops that keeps my brain very active, that I'm not out of idea at a particular time. So all these things have kept my brain very, very active, and my work-life balance depends on how I use my time. So if I don't use my time effectively, there is no balance. So once I'm through for the day, I might decide to give my dad, my mom, or maybe someone else a call just to ease my mind. Maybe something that will make me laugh. But funny part is that I've not really gotten a time to see a movie. That is very, very bad. I've not seen a movie for the past weeks. And
Is that
anytime I
something
want to
that
see a movie,
is that something that
anytime
eases your mind?
yes,
Yeah,
comedy
comedy.
precisely. So, so I've not really gotten that time to even see a movie or even a cartoon. So things are just very difficult for me right now. But I know for the past months I've been here, I've been able to really understand the intensity of this field work. And maybe in the future, if I'm going to be on the field, I will going to look for an opportunity that will give me a time for myself, a time for my family, and a time for career growth. So I don't want to depend so much on career growth that I leave myself out of the phone. So that is everything about my work-life balance. But based on people's experience that I've gotten to learn from, they usually say whenever their work-life balance is based on when they're on their time off. So you can balance yourself when you're on your time off. Maybe you go for fun activities. You stay more with families and friends, because once you're in the field, you are more of colleagues, you are more of a team members. But once you are out there, you are more family and friends. So that is one thing about the work-life balance I have.
And do you see yourself working in the field long term? Or would you like a transition in the next couple of years?
I think that is a question I've not actually considered. So if
That's
I'm gonna
interesting.
if I'm gonna work on the field, I think 10 years is okay. 10 years is okay for the field, and in the sense that I want to be someone that we have time for my own family. So in as much as I want to grow exponentially career-wise, I also want to grow career-wise in family too. So if I have the opportunity, I can still stay to 10 years on field. But if I decide to go on career breaks, I might decide not to go back to the field. But I know I must visit an offshore facility before I'm gonna drop this coverall. So that is.
Oh, I hope so. I hope that you want to get into that helicopter, do you? Oh my
I
God.
want to do that. So,
I hope so.
so that is one thing. That is one thing I would love to do. That is one thing I would love to experience, and that is one thing that can give me this fulfillment. Though I'm having fulfilling time here, but one thing about the industry is once you experience the onshore, you should also experience the offshore. So you have a balance between onshore and offshore, and you have this experience on how you can guide people further. So I might not really be directly in the field in the next 15, 20 years, but I will also be valuable to contributing to field operations. So if I'm not going to be putting on coverall, but I will also be in strategic position whereby I can easily influence people, I can mentor people, I can actually guide people, and I can also solve or provide solutions to energy-related challenges.
Yeah, and in my opinion, in order for you to do that job well and to execute all of those things well and with complete expertise, it is important for you to start in the field, or else you will never know or never understand what that field engineer is telling you when they're on that phone telling you, hey Fejiro, I have an issue here. How can you help? What should I do? How should I execute this? You won't really know unless you've had that experience and have been in those shoes. So in my opinion, in order to be a great ops manager, it's important for you to actually have been and handled the operations itself at one point in your life. So it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that is why I'm very grateful. That is why I'm grateful for this early opportunity. Not everyone gets this opportunity to be directly in the field. And being in the field is actually what I have actually desired for a very long time. And being in the field gives me this joy of being an engineer. Once you're an engineer, you are in the office and you're like, I'm only going to be working with my laptop. Once I get interactions with my valves and every other equipment that is running. So that is this personal to equipment relationship. I don't know if something like that existed, but I think I just invented something.
I understand. Yeah, that value, that personal equipment relationship. I get it, though. I get it. That's very true. So Fejiro, what motivated you to agree to this podcast, and what do you hope that the Gen Z listeners that are going to listen to you take and learn from our conversation?
Okay, what motivated me actually was because my story is something people should actually get to hear. People should actually get to learn from. People should also be able to have these connections between my story and what they are currently passing through. So what actually motivated me was my experience. So even though I'm still a baby in the industry, baby experience is quite important for
Very
any career
important.
starters. So there are times whereby starting early as a career person, it's very draining and very demanding. And someone who have not passed through that particular stage might find it difficult. So I have a lot of friends that will be like, they will message me sometimes. I will be like, Fejiro, how are you doing this? Okay, I'm having so thing in the field. What do I need to do? Okay, I want to take a particular course. What kind of course could you recommend for me to take? So these things motivated me to be like, okay, fine. A lot of people are out there in need of this kind of knowledge, in need of this kind of experience, in need of this kind of particular podcast. And secondly, I got to know flipping the barrel through my friend, my very good friend Prince. So he is the one that actually kept me on board. So and getting to read from flipping the barrel was more a very interesting thing because I've been on LinkedIn for 3 years plus, but I've not really gotten to hear about flipping the barrel until as of last year, I think last 2 years that I got featured in as one of the youngest Gen Z making impact in the industry, and that is a plus to me because not everybody can do what I'm doing. So, so, so it's a plus to me, and I was like, wow, if there's a community like this that can really appreciate young people, like people with zero experience, 0 to 1, 0 to 2, 0 to 5 years, and they are putting people on board. I was like, I checked the profile of people that I was tagged along with. I was like, people that have so much amount of experience, 33 years, 40 years. Wow.
Yeah.
And I noticed I was the youngest among them. So what motivated me was that flipping the barrel and the energy, I can't pronounce that particular word.
If you know, you know.
Okay, if you know, you know, wow. I'll be trying to get the meaning of that. Okay, so flipping the barrel and energy, if you know, you know, and trying to bring people, not only people that have made it in the industry, but people that are still finding their path in the industry. So those two things motivated me to this particular podcast.
Thank you for sharing that. And in your opinion, is this where Gen Z is looking to find information and seek out information on the energy industry? Where do they go? Is it just LinkedIn? Is it social media? Is it YouTube? Is it TikTok? Do you know where are they seeking out information and trying to understand more about our industry?
Okay, I know the internet has done a lot of things to everybody in this space, but in as much as the internet is there, people are still looking for personal relationship, personal communication, personal interaction. So in as much as I can go online and read about the industry, but I also need someone who has gotten into the industry, has passed through that particular stage in the industry and can guide me through. So it's not only about reading about everything.
No,
not
absolutely.
only about attending conferences, not only about attending workshop, but getting to know someone like you, getting to know you and you guiding me through, or getting to know me or me guiding you through. So this interpersonal relationship that can actually tell you, don't go there, go here, don't do that, do this, don't say that, say this. I know ChatGPT has done a lot of things that I can go on ChatGPT and I'll be like, I did one funny thing. Let me just share it here. So there was a day I was asked a question in the field and I felt so bad for myself. I was laughing and I was crying at myself. And that was the idiot curve telling me a lot of things that I wasn't at that particular time. So what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I asked it a question. I was like, okay, I'm Fejiro. I graduated with a petroleum engineering degree from PTI, and I'm currently in a gas process, a liquefaction of natural gas. And I felt I gave the wrong answer. I didn't know what to say. I felt dumb at that time, and it's very, very painful. You know what ChatGPT told me? It said,
Do I want to know?
He said, "Hello, Fejiro. I understand that you're actually in a transition from petroleum to natural gas, and you shouldn't feel you don't know. You shouldn't feel you are not capable. You shouldn't feel you are not good enough. It's just a process." That was when I was like, okay, I need to dust myself. I need to clean the tears, and I need to go back to where I came from. It's just a process. So what led to this chat GPT experience is because this personal relationship, whenever I talk to my mentors, some of them will be like, don't worry, just close your eye, and do anything, just close your eye, bear the pain, bear everything, just enjoy the process, do this and do that. And most of the times whenever I send message across to them, they might not be telling me that they are tired of listening to my complaints, but I will be telling myself, I'll be like, Pedro, it's not the time you have to message this man that you are facing this challenge. So that was when I went to chat GPT. So in as much as internet is there, AI is there, there is this personal communication with a person, like with a person that actually makes you that, okay, I want to give you a hug just to tell you that you are fine, you can do this, you can pass through this stage and everything seems okay. So what I think people need to know about the industry, or people are so much passionate about, is people they know in the industry that are doing what they want to do, or they are going where they want to go. So they don't need AI in the industry that is turning valves. Maybe they need someone in that particular mechanical department that is doing far better. And I look that person as an inspiration. So I get to know that person. I get to cultivate some attitudes from him, his core values, his attitude to work. And it gives me this opportunity that I can actually contribute positively to my team. So that is one thing about the needs of a young person in the industry. They don't want to read everything online. I know people will be like, I've gone to conferences for too many times and they keep telling me the same thing. Network, go for conferences, go for this, go for that. But they have not really gotten somebody to hold their hand and like, don't worry, just follow my footsteps, follow what I'm doing. Come, let's go this way. So that personal communication is one thing I feel people need to hear, not only about the internet.
Okay. And do you think through hearing stories like yours, people can find that personal connection?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can. Because I was talking with should I call with a colleague from SLB, and I asked her a question. I was like, how was your first 5 years in the field? How was your first 5 years in the industry? What shaped your attitude? Because I know we can change our character based on stress. We can do a lot of annoying things when things are not going the way we want them. And she was like, she cried. So if she cried, who am I not to cry? So that was what motivated me to be like, okay, she cried and she has gotten to the 50 of her career growth. So if she can cry and achieve 5 years, even me crying and standing up, crying and going back, crying or not crying at all, I can actually achieve the next 5 years successfully without any form of challenges. So the challenges are there. And one of my mentee, or should I call it, one of my son will be like, send me a video constantly. He does that so much that sometimes it just annoys me. So it will be like, it's fine to cry. If you are hungry, go and eat. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to laugh, laugh. If you want to sing, sing. If you want to do anything, just do it. It's just a process. So that was I was like, okay, fine. If they are actually saying those things, so I hold the tears very accountable for every experience I've gained. So that is one thing about sharing the experience here on this podcast. And I know someone out there will be like, wow, this lady has really gone through a lot. And I'm a resilient person. I'm very resilient. And one thing that made me to understand that was when I lost my grandma, yeah, during my final year in school. So it was a tough one for me. What else can I do? She's gone. So I just have to stand up, check it off. I know it's painful. And I thought about her. She left 2021. And just yesterday, I saw a photo and I cried again. Am I still crying now? No. So it's just a moment, and every moment that comes, just appreciate it with everything you want to do.
You are resilient. Thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable. You are resilient, and I see how you take this resilience and transfer and transition it into positivity with your smile. You're telling these challenges, and I cried, and with a smile on your face, like, yeah, I cried. It's normal. I moved on. And I think that's important. That's an important message to carry on, is that it's a, like you said over and over again, it's a process. And whatever you're feeling now, feel it, but know that you're gonna like get up and keep moving, because life is moving. Things get better, things get worse. It's a process again. So thank you for sharing. Now finally, Fejiro, listen to this. So imagine you are in the shoes of an executive, okay? And you're tasked from your team to support and empower the younger generation that want to join the energy industry. All right. What initiatives or strategies would you implement to create that environment that can help encourage growth, development, and fulfillment for the younger generation? You're a woman executive, you know.
Okay, yes, okay. So that question is a strong one. It's tough too, and it's more of how should I say it? It's more of a management question. So if I'm in the shoes of an executive and I want to contribute to the growth of Gen Z professionals, it's very important that I should understand that I was once a Gen Z. So things I passed through as a Gen Z and that I didn't want, that I never wanted or I never loved, I wouldn't want it to be repeated to someone else. So getting to understand that before I became an executive, I was once a hustler. I call it hustler in the field because because I'm trying to show forth that I can actually do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So before I got to the executive, I was actually a Gen Z, and things that I saw that were very poor in terms of human resources, in terms of field operations, in terms of communication, in terms of attitude to works, in terms of collaboration in the workspace. Those things I saw difficult. I'm going to address them. So actually, what are my strategies? So the first one is open communication. I feel most of the times executives that carry out operations or that carry out a particular decision is because they don't give room for open communication. Not everybody knows what is another man's mind. So open communication is a means whereby you are giving your young professionals the opportunity to share what they know or what they have in their heart or in their mind. Mm-hmm. And that open communication makes you to understand the direction at which they are coming from. So if you don't understand the direction they are coming from, they might not be able to contribute to your company's goal. And at the end, your team objectives, they are not achieved. So open communication is that these are young professionals, these are Gen Z, these are people that are starting up in the industry, these are people that are still looking for opportunities to grow. So I have to be open with them. I have to hear from them. I have to know what they are feeling, what they are doing, what are their expectations in the industry, what they hope to gain at the end of the day in my organization. So the open communication can be through maybe newsletters or through emails or maybe a team bonding whereby everybody is present. You're having a talk show and you're having this personal conversation with them or this personal engagement with them, and they are open and willing to communicate with you. So once you give them a open platform, they are sincere enough to share with you what is troubling them. Then the next one I would love to consider is a strategy that I call the colleague to mentor to supervisor. So as an executive in a particular department, there are supervisors, there are team leads. So if the young professionals in that establishment, for example, I pair them to their departments. And their departments, they already have supervisors. What is the next thing I will do? I'll pair those young professionals again to a mentor. Supervisors and mentors, they are two different things. A mentor is someone that can actually guide you through a particular process or through a stage. A supervisor is someone who can actually oversee what you are doing, can recommend how you should do it better, or why you shouldn't do what you are doing. So if I'm paying the young Gen Z to a supervisor, the supervisor at any moment can tell the young Gen Z that you are doing it in the wrong way. What about the mentor? I'll pay the young professional to a mentor, in the sense that the young professional, whenever he or she encounters a particular challenge in that line of experience, can easily walk up to a mentor and be like, I'm having so challenge in my career, or I'm having so challenge in the department, and I need your help to guide me through. So that is the network I'm going to create, that will ensure that there is this collaboration between the young Gen Z and the executive body. Then the last thing I would do is, the last thing I would do is to give an opportunity whereby they are valued. One thing I love about team is that once you don't tell people how valuable they are, they don't contribute positively to your team. People are valuable. Their experience means a lot. So I have a team that I have a lot of persons that, since I'm busy, they are the ones shadowing for me. So anytime I go back to them, I'll be like, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for standing in for me. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing that. I'm encouraging them. So one thing about the young Gen Z, their spirits are so energetic. So I wouldn't want to dim them down. So I will keep on improving their energy by contributing to them in terms of collaboration, in terms of teamwork, in terms of leadership, in terms of the last one I wanted to say is in terms of leadership. So and a delegation of activities. So if a young Gen Z in a particular field can do this, I just give the person the role to perform. So those are the two key things I would do: open communication, a colleague to the colleague is a young professional. So a colleague to a mentor to a supervisor strategy. And the third one is I've forgotten the third one. I remember I said something.
Value.
Yeah, value.
It's value and collaboration. And is it enough to show value is just to say, hey, thank you?
No, it's not enough.
Then how would that?
So when we talk about value, it's not about saying thank you. It's not only about saying thank you, your efforts are appreciated. It's about giving room for the person to improve. So if, for example, you give a young professional an assignment to do, and the young professional did that based on his own level of experience, you are permitted to first of all accept what he or she has done before recommending a better solution. The reason the young professional was able to do that was because of his level of exposure. So you can't use your level of exposure as an executive to grade someone, and at the end you say the person is not valuable to your team. You don't do that. So in as much as everybody is unique in their aspect of experience, it's also important that we understand that we have early career starters, we have people that have made it in the industry, and we have people that are yet to even graduate from the school. So value does not only mean telling someone thank you. Value means appreciating someone's effort for trying. At least the person tried to do something better. So that is the value and collaboration.
Your advice, your insights, your experience, everything has been amazing, touching, and I know our audience are going to resonate so much with it. This has been amazing. I thank you so much for your time. I know I've taken a lot of your time. You're at work. I'm grateful myself that everything's behaving behind you. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for carving out this time, even throughout your work day or work night. I really appreciate it. And I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Energy, if you know, you know, right?
Yes.
And flipping the barrel. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I really love what the platform is doing. So not all platforms are available for people to maximize. So that is why I tell people every opportunity you have, just make the best use of it. So for Energy, if you know, you know, bringing this to Nigeria and trying to feature a Nigerian village girl. Yeah, I call it a village girl because every basic amenity, water, food, I've gotten to appreciate those basic things because not everybody can afford to eat, not everybody can afford to get water. So those are the things that I've really gotten to appreciate, that every basic things I'm grateful for it. So thank you so much, Energy, if you know, you know, and flipping the barrier. And thank you so much, Ma'am Saloma.